Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. I know last time I did my Twisted review I said I was coming back to YouTube, but then things like massively kicked off and I got super busy, especially with Fright Fest, so I hope you enjoyed all my reviews for that. But I am hoping to start making weekly or even 2 videos a week videos from now on. So let's start with today's video. I am literally about to go and see Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. I'm apprehensive because I'm such a huge fan of the original. I've watched it twice this week. I just absolutely love it. The reason I'm a little bit apprehensive is because this could be an unpopular opinion. I like the character of Beetlejuice, but he's not my favourite thing about this. So I'm hoping he doesn't get like all the screen time. I hope that like Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega kind of like take the reins with the story. I'm also wanting it to take like an Alien approach, like it has a few nods and things here and there, but it's its own story. I want it to have like its own thing for it, and I don't want it to just copy the story of the original, if you catch my drift. So let's go and see the movie. I will let you guys know what I think when I come out. Hello everyone. So I know I'm not in my car and I've probably really confused you all, but as you can see I'm currently cat sitting. I needed to pop in and feed the babies after the film. So I thought I would just chat about the film with you here. I hope that is okay. So I would say, oh yeah, he's got 3 legs, by the way, if you're wondering. He's not mine, I'm looking after him, but he is absolutely adorable, aren't you, Chaz? Good boy. So yeah, I really enjoyed Beetlejuice. Like I said at the start, I was really apprehensive. I was a bit worried about Beetlejuice being like the main character, because obviously in the first one he isn't, and his scenes in the original aren't my favourite. I was really hoping it had a good story of its own, and I was hoping he wasn't in it, you know, as much as I thought the marketing made out that he would be. I'm quite happy to report that I enjoyed it. It's not a perfect film by any means, and it is not as good as the original either. Like it comes close-ish, but you know, not close enough. So I'm going to talk about my positives, any mixed I have, and then any negatives. Positives right off the bat, as expected, it is the performances. Michael Keaton is absolutely brilliant in the role as Beetlejuice, as we expected. He delivers the quirky one-liners with ease. He's just super funny, charming, and you know, if you found him annoying in the first one, you'll probably find him annoying in this one, but he plays the character really well. A standout for me in the original is Catherine O'Hara, and she is brilliant here, as is Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder kind of like takes the main character of the movie, and I really enjoyed that. Jenna Ortega, fabulous addition to the cast. She matches that moody tone that you'd expect really well. She sort of reminded me a little bit of young Lydia Deetz, so that was a really nice touch. What I liked about the performances and the characters is that every personality trait, everything that they had going for them in this one felt like a very natural progression. So I really enjoyed that. There was a lot of attention paid to making the characters kind of like flow nicely, and I do think that it worked. You know, they had the right personalities, the right traits, and I did really enjoy everything about that. Everyone was excited to see Monica Bellucci, and while she is absolutely great in this film and looks stunning, she's not in it very much, so I don't really have much to report about her performance. She doesn't get a heck load of screen time. When she is on screen though, she is fantastic, of course, and looks the part too. Speaking of looking the part, the visuals here are absolutely fantastic. It does lose sort of that gritty griminess that the 80s film had, purely because everything's just a little bit more polished now, but it does still look really good. What I liked about kind of the film in general, really, this is going into kind of another point, but it's the world building. We spend a lot more time in the afterlife here than we do in the first one, and a lot more like destinations and locations in the afterlife as well. In the first one we only kind of visit like the waiting room, but here we get different like stations and different things like that. There's a lot more of the afterlife to explore, and it flits quite seamlessly between the two, and yeah, it's just I liked exploring the world, and that allowed for the visuals to really shine. It had all the colours that you'd expect, you know, the greens, the purples, the bright lights whenever there's like they're entering the afterlife and stuff like that. Everything you'd expect like that is on point. One thing I really like about the original is kind of like the opening sequence, the way that's filmed with the model of the town, you know, and they do that as well in this. There's a lot of like really fun cinematography that I really did enjoy. There's a fly, I'm so sorry. But yeah, everything about the movie looks stunning. A big part of Beetlejuice, the original, is the music cues, obviously, and all the ones that you'd expect to be in here are in here, from the original score to other ones. And there's also a lot of other music injected into this film that's not in the first one that I really did like. It's just fun, you know, like just like the original. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It has a really fun time, witty one-liners, kind of overly quirky characters, and that is exactly what you get here. I'm going to get into my mixed now, because I think that kind of covers the positives, and I don't want to like spoil too much either. I think you should go into it not blind, but you know, just go with it. One thing I didn't mention actually was Willem Dafoe. I forgot he was in this, and again, same as Monica Bellucci, Willem Dafoe is fantastic. When is he not? But he's not really in it too much either, so not too much to report there. So going into my mixed aspects, as I said, the visuals are absolutely freaking stunning, and one thing this film does that I really appreciated it for is it's set on Halloween. Do I feel now in a spooky autumnal mood, and was it just absolutely gorgeous to see? Of course. Pumpkins, ghosts, people putting things up in their gardens, decorating, trick-or-treating, all of that fun stuff is in here. I just wish it released a little bit later on this month or into October. If you're setting a film on Halloween, I really want it to come out a little bit closer to the time. I know all of us spooky baddies are like doing our decor and that now. I get that, and I'm glad I do feel a little bit spooky. But at the same time, I do kind of wish, the same with Cobweb last year coming out in the summer. It's still really hot outside, so it just feels like I'm not quite ready yet for those spooky films. And it's set on Halloween, just bring it out in October. You'll put more bums on seats that way as well, right? But anyway, that is one of my mixed aspects. Visually stunning, especially with all the Halloween imagery. But I do wish it was October. Another mixed aspect is the story. I won't spoil too much of this for you. Like I said, I want you to go in and experience it for yourself. What I liked about the story is that it did its own thing. It wasn't completely rehashing what happened in the first one. Like I said, it's got a nice natural progression. It has its own like proper cohesive plot, and it does its own thing. It doesn't mimic. It has enough callbacks to feel like it's the next one on, but it doesn't completely copy it. That is the positive. The negative I would say here is that it's doing a little bit too much. We've got a couple of storylines here and there with different characters that it all ties together fine, but it just feels a little bit busy, and it's got a very short runtime. It's not even 2 hours long, this film. And it does stuff in a lot of different threads. And I feel like that is also a reason why some of the talent that we really wanted to see in here get a little bit less screen time than we expect. Willem Dafoe sort of has his own thing going on. Beetlejuice has got a thing going on. Jenna Ortega's got a thing going on. And Monica Bellucci's got a thing going on. So it's all just a lot. Does it come together? Yes. Do we get enough of each one for some of the stories to feel warranted? Not really, no. As well, it's very predictable. I kind of knew where it was going at certain points, which is fine. These films aren't serious at all. The silliness is there, and the like cheesy, campy, corny silliness is there, which I really liked. It's just a bit jumpy sometimes, you know. It maybe puts in, I think they could have easily taken out like one of the things, maybe even two, and it would have been absolutely fine. I was going to talk about like the nods and the callbacks and stuff in the positive, but I'm going to put it in the mixed just because there's one thing that this film does that they do in the original, and it's one of the best things that's done in the original, but I don't think it's as good here as it was in the original, and I don't think it works as well. I think they could have like not done it and it would have been fine. I know I'm being very vague, but I don't want to spoil anything because it only came out today. So it does a thing that's a really big thing in the first one, but they don't do it as well. It's not as much of a surprise, and it's not as funny, it's not as charming, and it just felt like it was pushing it a little bit too much. Obviously this is in the mix, so it does have a lot of like nice callbacks, similarly to like what Twisters has done recently. Like it's its own thing, but it has little nods and stuff to the original without like being really ham-fisted with the nostalgia and stuff. Same as Alien Romulus as well. That's another really good example of this. But there is one or two things in here that are like, yeah, you could have maybe like not. So we are now on to the negative, and honestly, I had such a good time with this film. Like, I just like let myself enjoy it, and whilst it wasn't perfect, I had so much fun with it. The only like negative that I have is the ending. Like, I don't think they knew like quite how to finish this story. I don't know if they wanted to like go serious and have like a big message, or go silly, and it kind of just does everything, and then it just ends and you're like, oh, okay. Like the end, like the final act is fine. It's got like hijinks and action and stuff. It kind of like, the story comes together really nicely. It's just that final 2 or 3 minutes that was just really scatty and all over the place, and it didn't feel very, I don't know, it's like they didn't know how to end it. I had a really similar feeling with another film I really enjoyed, a film I like more than this one, which is Last Night in Soho. It feels like it had all these really good ideas and it was weaving something together, and then it didn't quite know how to end it. It was only, like I said, it was only like the final like 2 or 3 minutes that I didn't enjoy, but you know, the end is at the end, so you want it to kind of go out on a high. That is everything I will say about Beetlejuice. Please go out and see it in cinemas this weekend and let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll reply to all my comments as always, and I can't wait to chat Beetlejuice with you. See you soon.